Week with Kanye West.
Yeah, and the week isn't over yet. It's only Friday. The president doesn't have anything on his public schedule until about 3 o'clock when he heads out to Cincinnati for a campaign rally. So we'll see what today brings. But yesterday was just one of those days where you felt like it was coming from every side. The president did a 45-minute interview live by phone with Fox and Friends in the morning. He had several bill signings where he spoke and took questions from reporters at the White House. And that was all before Kanye West and Kid Rock showed up. And they weren't even here together. They were here for separate events. The president was having lunch with Kanye West, and we asked if reporters could come in and see some of it. And he said, sure, and brought everybody in for the Oval Office meeting that they were having. And this was just a very bizarre scene. Certainly one of the more unusual White House photo ops that I can remember. And a lot of people who've been here longer than me, so they just don't remember anything like this. He spoke at great length on a wide range of topics, rambling soliloquy that at times he dropped profanity in the Oval Office. He was banging on the desk that the president was sitting at. Just haven't seen anything like that before.
It also looked like President Trump was felt a little awkward by it as well.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that. He was nodding his head in agreement for the most part while Kanye was speaking. I mean, look, it's his office. If he wants to wrap this up, there's a way for the president to do that. And he didn't. He let him talk. And Kanye West took questions from reporters, too, which is also notable. He was talking about his potential political ambitions and said, sure, he might consider jumping into politics, but not in 2020. He said he's not going to challenge the president. Kanye West 2024 would be more realistic. And he got his first glimpse at what that would be like by taking questions from reporters. My colleague John Carl tried to ask him a follow-up to something he had asked him earlier, and Kanye West said to him, I don't answer questions in simple sound bites. You're tasting a fine wine. It has multiple notes to it. It's quite a soundbite.
Profound. What was my friend Jim Brown doing while all this was going on?
Yeah, kind of sitting there. And at one point, the president said, would you like to say something? And he kind of just seemed to say, well, just let this continue. But he was part of that meeting and lunch the president was having with Kanye West.
All right. One more note, Karen Towers, before we let you go, and that is this story with Saudi Arabia and this Washington Post reporter. Sounds like this is going to be a big story. Where is the White House on this?
The president has called for transparency. He wants to get full details. He says that this has to be thoroughly investigated. He kept saying, it's not good. He doesn't like to hear this. But he also was pushed on whether or not there would be any change to that $100 billion weapons deal that he announced last year when we were in Saudi Arabia, when he landed in Riyadh. And the president said no, that if the U.S. were to pull out of that agreement, the Saudis would then turn to Russia or China to get those same things. And this is jobs. This is good for the economy here in the U.S. But he was pushed on, whether there was a line he would draw and what action he would take if this is determined that Saudi Arabia was behind this, what is now being considered a murder. And he said there will be action, but he wouldn't say what it would be.
Karen Travers, get back to work. Thanks for checking in. ABC News White House correspondent.